Been?
Good, good, good. Recovering from yesterday. That heat was just like me and Jared did the shoot at Geelong at Bloodline, and when we organized it, I didn't realize it was how hot of a day it was meant to be. And then our car aircon thing's like fucking broken. So we had to drive all the way back to like Brunswick with like no aircon. It was like the
Oh,
most fuck, and we had trained, and then we had no meals on us, and then we done the shoot after we trained, so we were just like exhausted, and then just that drive home was absolutely fucked. Like, car was a hot box because of the car park. It just sits in the sun, and then windows down, you just get hit in the face like by the wind, and it's just like an iron being like like a blow dryer being blown you. Fucking horrible. So it's left me feeling pretty muggy and sluggish today. What about
look,
yourself?
that's a really like old school gym, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's I say like old school vibe. Like he's like handpicked all the equipment. It's like in a big the best way to describe it is I haven't been a strongman yet, but
Yep.
the it visually from what I've seen online of strongman, it kind of looks like that, but then imagine, I guess I think it has more older equipment. Like he's got like heaps of strive pieces, he's got like a couple of Dorian Yates pieces like the pullover, and
Yeah.
he's getting a generation one like side backs leg press and stuff coming in.
Mm.
So it's just kind of like that mixture of the old school vibe, but then I guess it's not necessarily old. Like the facility doesn't look old. It's just the equipment and the vibe. Bring that old
Mm.
era into bodybuilding.
Mm. I would love to go there down there one day, but it's a bit of a drive.
Yeah, because where are you? Because I know for Jared it's quite a while.
Yeah, I'm near Jared. I'm in
Yeah.
Bayswater North, so it's probably how long did it take him? Did he
He
say?
said
How
I
long?
think over an hour. For us, it took from Brunswick, it took an hour and 20. And I think for him, he said it takes maybe an hour 40.
Yeah, yeah, that would take me around the same, maybe
Yeah,
a
yeah,
little
yeah.
bit longer.
It's worth the drive, but I think like doing it maybe like once every 2 months or something, it's fun because I love doughies, but like at the same time the equipment's not the best.
Mm.
So
Mm.
like it's nice to go to a gym that has kind of more hand selected because I'm a bit, I guess, equipment snobby. I don't know however you want to word it. So being able to find a gym that we can go to, because I love Into super nice too, but finding a new gym where I guess it's worth the drive is always nice because
Yeah. But I feel like Melbourne, we're starting to get a lot of good gyms now.
yeah, well,
There's a lot of good gyms in Melbourne now.
yeah, because I've only been here for 2 years now, so I haven't been able to kind of see because I only found out about Into when I went with Jared.
Mm.
And been to a few muscle cities, they're nice. I want to come check out Strongman. I went to Owl's gym, that was kind of cool, but it felt a bit too small for me. Where else have I been? Bloodline's good. I want to go to I think it's Athletic Con
Oh
or
yeah, that's nice. It's small, but it's actually a really, really good gym. I've got a few clients that train there.
yeah.
They have a lot of Nautilus pieces there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then there's a gym just opened up, Nexus in Brunswick, and that's nice. It's kind of compared to their Gold Coast version, which is like kind of been bodybuilding takeover. This one's a bit
Mm.
more powerlifting, but they've still got quite a nice. Like they've got a bit of Nautilus equipment, and he's got some Atlantis equipment, which is nice. Because
Mm.
Into was the first time that I got to use like an Atlantis. What's it called? Pendulum, and that shit was beautiful. Because
Oh, that's the best pendulum.
yeah,
The reason why whenever I see a client have it in the gym, I'm like, use that
yeah,
because there's a good amount of counterbalance to that. Because a lot of pendulums they don't have a counterbalance. That's
yeah.
why the Watson always fucks up everyone's knees. But and the Atlantis one, the new versions, you can adjust the foot placement too, so you can get really, really good depth.
Yeah, it's so smooth. Like I don't know. I've used the Watson one on the coast at Powerhouse, but
It's
the
hard. The Watson's hard. It
yeah,
humbles you.
it's stiff, but like I don't know what the one is I don't know what brand the one at Dough
That,
is.
that that's Watson.
It is Watson? Yeah.
It's good, but it can take a toll on. everyone's knees because there's no counterbalance. It's
Yeah,
so
yeah,
heavy
yeah.
on the length and range. Getting out of that hole, like it fucks up a lot of people's knees.
Yeah, it's not enjoyable. I guess like especially when you compare to like if you can find a decent hack squat, which is a lot easier on the knees. Because I don't mind. I want to try the Atlantis hack squat because the Nexus gym has that. I haven't been able to use that yet. But I like the best hack squat I've ever used actually is it I think Star Trek.
I
It
don't.
was
Yeah,
maybe
I know the brand.
yeah, I don't know if it's that or there was like one. It was the only hack squat in all of like the Gold Coast. It was like in Tweed and they had the hack squat. I think it was that because it wasn't any of the other like Cybex and other like whatever the one at Doherty's is, and it was just like it was like the perfect angle, whatever
Mm.
angle that it was on, and it was just smooth. It's kind of it just kind of actually felt like the what I'm assuming the Atlantis one must feel like, just completely smooth the whole way through. Um, and that's probably like the best hack squat. I think that's funny when you talk about squatting and not wanting, being mindful of your knees, because I think we want to use equipment that helps us, get the max knee flexion for the most quad growth, but then you don't want to be fucking up your knee tendons and
Yeah. Like that's why I have a lot of clients. I'm like, yes, like a hack squat could be the best for them for their quads, but I see them use it for like 6 weeks and then they're fucked. And then like, all right, you make great progress for 6 weeks or whatever, but then you're fucked. Like
yeah,
you're injured. So why not do something? Yes, like a leg press. Like I got a client, he's pretty damn tall, and the leg press might not be the best for his quads.
yeah,
However, we were able to use it for the entire year without his knees getting fucked.
yeah, yeah.
That was the best leg progress he ever saw. It's about like how long can you keep this up without injuring yourselves?
Yeah, yeah, so important. What would be like your go-to, I guess, squat pattern for clients then? If like, I guess like you're saying, because I'm not a big fan of like barbell squats or like Smith squats. I've
Mm.
always kind of opted to hack squats or like yeah, a decent pendulum. But for the first time I used when I went to the Powerhouse Baywater, the swing squat.
The swing squat, yeah.
Yeah, that's really nice. I really want to try a true squat. I haven't been able to find a gym that has a true squat machine. I think Paris might actually have it. I'm not too sure.
I think they have it. They're
Yeah,
okay. They're okay.
but what would be yeah your I guess your ideal to kind of for
Well,
someone who does deal with whether it's knee tendonitis or knee pain and kind of wanting to find something that allows them to get the most longevity out of it.
but first thing first is like you have to address like why do they have knee pain?
Yeah.
Is it because they got like tight hip flexors? Like for me, I sit down all day because I'm always on my clients, doing my clients' check-ins, and as a result, like there's so much weight on my legs, and I'm in one position all the time, and my hip flexors just tighten up. And it pulls onto my knee. So I know, like, all right, my knee pain isn't because of pendulum. It's because I
Yeah.
sit down all day. So so that's the first thing you got to do. It's like you address why you have knee pain. Is it age? Is it tightness? Um, there's a reason why you're in pain. Address that first. And then the second thing is like, all right, if you're an individual that cannot do, let's just say, a pendulum without knee pain, then don't do it.
Yeah.
Like it might not be, yes, it's good, but you're not gonna last doing it.
Yeah.
Bodybuilding is something you're gonna do for like 10, 15 years. Like no one's gonna have great legs in 5 years. It's like time and time and time again.
Yeah.
And as long as you find an exercise where you get the most stimulus, that's the most important thing. That's why I always ask my guys, it's like, hey, what do you feel? Because I see a lot of coaches that prescribe like a client an exercise, but it might not feel good for them.
Mm.
So if my client's giving me good feedback, it's like, all right, my knees are not in pain. I'm progressing in weight. I'm great. I'm getting good pumps. Then I'll just ride that. And yes, like for example, my client Miron, a leg press will probably build his glutes a little bit more, but who cares? Like he's able to progress his legs.
Yeah.
His quads are growing rather than I give him a hack squat and he's in pain, you know?
Yeah. 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 That's a
Like as long
really
as as long as they continue to progress, I'm happy with that.
yeah, yeah. I 100% agree with you. I think that definitely over my years of training, that's something that I've had to kind of, because I spent the good first 2-ish years, and I was just training with a partner, and I was just following his like routine. And I like kind of like slowly worked out. I was like, nah, I can't do this no more. Like he
Yeah,
was kind of like the invincible person. Like he could do anything, everything. And it was just like no matter what he did, never felt injured, could keep going. And all of a sudden I was like, man, I don't know, this movement's not working for me. This rep scheme's not working, this amount of volume's not working. So then I had to kind of learn and tailor down and then work out like what you said, what kind of feels the best, what doesn't make me feel injured, and then what can I progress and do consistently the longest? And what am I seeing growth from? I think that's
mm,
something that is actually, funnily enough, I think over like underrated and overlooked when it comes to, I guess, from a coaching standpoint. And a coach, a lot of it we just kind of go, oh well, these are the basics that we know worked for us, or these are the basics that just grow muscle. You should do these, but trying to, like you said, cater to the longevity because the sport is such about, it's not, you can't build a great physique in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. No matter how
yeah,
genetically gifted
yeah,
you are, it still takes time. So finding what you can progress in without injury is obviously the best way.
yeah. And they also have to enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's really, really important. Like if they don't enjoy it, then they're not gonna really push themselves on it.
Yes, I agree with that. Enjoyment, it's kind of that whole argument of like what has occurred from the science-based lifting and the old OG like bro split science, which
Mm.
is just kind of like what really matters is enjoyment and consistency. So whatever equals those, that's what you should do.
There's a middle ground.
Yeah.
I think if you're too dogmatic in one approach, like this is wrong,
Yeah.
then you are never going to be a good coach because you're just so fixated on your ways. You have to be a little bit open-minded to
Yeah.
things, whether it's new studies coming out, whether it's PDs, whether it's training. You have to kind of like you have to accept there's always room to improve in knowledge.
Most definitely. Well, first off, I just want to say thank you for jumping on and having this chat with me. I'm really excited to kind of expand more and help the listeners kind of get to know you more. You've always been like, as a fan of the sport, someone that I really like think is such a good athlete. Like I've always been impressed with your condition, your shape, and so
Mm.
I'm always excited to kind of have people on like that we can talk and kind of delve more into, your training philosophy, your opinions, and just how you've grown as an athlete. So yeah, first I just want to say thank you for jumping on.
Oh, it was good. It was good to have me. Sorry. Thanks for having me. I didn't
So
expect it. I was like, oh, someone's asked me for a podcast. But I've actually had that a few times, and it just makes me feel weird because I'm like, I don't think I'm special.
yeah,
And I always turn it down. It's like, oh, I'm shit. But like, I was just like, oh, I might as well this time.
I think it's good. I think it's good. I think you should. It's funny. A lot of people. I think a lot of people feel that way too. They're kind of just like I think it's easy to a part of the sport you kind of adapt a mentality of, because you can always be better. You can always do better.
Yeah,
You can always be better. So you kind of don't really see maybe the standard at which other people see you at. And so it can
yeah,
always seem a bit weird when someone like, gives you a compliment or like, yeah,
yeah,
wanting to get on a podcast. You're like, what are you talking about? I'm a nobody. But it's like you are someone. You've won shows, you're a competitive athlete, and you're an amazing coach, like the season you just had with your clients, like they all placed really well. So no matter how you may view yourself, I know there's people out here that look up to you and see you as an amazing coach and athlete.
yeah. Thanks. That means a lot. Yeah, last season was really, really good. I was pretty happy with how majority of my boys looked. Obviously, like we all want better placings,
Yeah,
but they all came out of it with a great experience, which I was really, really happy with. Because like to become a great bodybuilder, you can't just do one show.
yeah,
You have to do show after show after show. There's going to be a lot of shows in your career. Like your bodybuilding career is going to be like 10, 15 years. And if you don't enjoy it, then like you're wasting your years of your life. And whenever I have a client that comes out of it, regardless of the placing, like they'll be pissed at first, but a couple of weeks later, they'll be like, this was an amazing moment in my life. Then that's everything to me.
yeah. Because I think that's important. I think sometimes it's like what we said, enjoyment, bodybuilding is it's a
Yeah.
long process. So if you know that you want to do it and it means something to you and it's going to take time, and it does, it takes up a lot of your life. Like there's so much more that you could be doing if you were not dedicating so much of your time to it. So it's like, instead of just focusing on the placing, which is just a fucking medal, it's
Mm.
about, you yourself and how far you can push yourself and where you can go with it, that you want to be enjoying it. So I think it's really nice to hear as a coach that that is something that you push with your clients. So you want to make sure that at the end of the day, regardless of the placing, that you've allowed them to enjoy the experience of dedicating
Yeah.
themselves day in and day out to reaching the stage.
Yeah, because I see it often that I see people backstage, they'll be like complaining about their coach not giving them enough attention, and they'll be maybe salty about placing. And a lot of people come out of a bad experience and they
Mm,
don't compete again.
mm,
And I see often that people with great talent, they just give up on the sport just because they had a great, like a shit experience. And a lot of my boys that work with me and understands, okay, like it's not, it's hard, but it's fun. It
yeah,
can be really, really fun. That's one thing that's why I always limit the amount of people I take on per season. Because like I see people doing like 30 clients per season. I'm like, there's no fucking way you're giving everyone 100%.
yeah,
Like, there's no way. And I hear about it from people's teams like, oh, my coach didn't respond to me. But like, if you message any single one of my guys, they were like, Kevin gave 100%.
yeah,
Like, they never felt like, okay, I'm a guy in the second call out, and Kevin's coaching a guy that's like gonna win nationals. Like, they're gonna receive the same amount of attention.
yeah. It's something that I've always like wondered. It was like I remember first couple of shows I ever went to, and it was like the three coaches' names that you'd always hear would be like Sam Pierce, Logan Robson, and Dean. And like,
Yeah.
they're all great coaches, they're all great athletes, two of them are pros. Dean's got an incredible physique. And it's just funny, it's that thing of when you wonder and you constantly hear, they've got like 20 or so clients. It's like, how do they manage? It's like what you said. I wonder, like, do the people that are maybe in the second call out or third call out, and then their clients that are in the first call out, it's like, do they feel like how do they navigate going, oh well, I need to give my attention to everybody and give the details so that everyone kind of feels not neglected, like what you said.
Yeah.
And I think,
And people get neglected. I see it all the time where I look at people I'm like, this guy would do so much better if his coach was on top of it.
yeah. So do you think, I like that. I like that you said that. So do you think that's something that you kind of like pride yourself on, is making sure to never not neglect, but so do you go through a process like you said, so you limit the amount of athletes that you take on? So have you worked out what that number is, where if I go beyond this, I can now not give a 100% effort for each client? Or are you slowly kind of working out what that number is? Like, how do you go through that process of going, this is how I
Mm.
can give my all to this client so I know I can get the most potential out of them?
Like I've always I've always had like a small team every single season. But last season was one of my biggest ones. I think I had like 7 people
Mhm.
and it was 7 great guys and it was hard. It was like I remember there was a couple days where I woke up at 6 a.m. and the first thing like I opened my eyes is like, all right, ready to start work. And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
I'll go to bed at 12. And I'll do that like a couple days,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like for 3 days in a row after each, I mean before each comp. It was hell. And then that's when I realized, all right, I think max like 8 people. This is like pretty fucked.
Yeah,
Um, but I enjoyed it. I love it. I love it. But I can't do more than that
yeah.
because I know that even if I pick on another person, like let's just say it'll be the ninth person or 10th person, I'm not sure if I can give them 100% right now.
Mm.
Maybe it'll get better with experience. Like everything, like people get better at managing things when it comes to experience. But right now, I think eight for me will be like that's a good number.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I
That's a
respect
really
that you
good
have the
number.
self-awareness to kind of be like, you know what, I know that, you know, I could make more money pushing more, but for what's more important is the value and the service that I give and
Yeah,
getting the most out of my clients, that, hey, this is my limit and I'm going to stick with this until I can master these. So where maybe you're not doing those 6 a.m. to 12 a.m. days and go, you know what, now I can potentially take on one and do one at a time.
yeah,
But at least because I think it's important. I think that's something that I see that's really lacking in just the industry as a whole, not necessarily also competing, but it's like this, and it's always been a thing like the cookie cutter method, everything. Like, there's this weird lack of attention, I think, with, clients. And I think it's nice to hear because it is something that I've seen recently that people that are, what not focusing solely on coaching as a business, but taking on a small group net of people that they can, like whether it's five, whether it's 10, some athletes, some not, and they can just dedicate that time to them. And I think it allows you to get the most out of them in that way too.
Like, I don't want to be a numbers guy. Like
Yeah.
for me, I kind of, if I die tomorrow, like I want to leave behind a legacy. Like I
Mm.
want to be one of the best coaches in Australia. Like when I when someone hears like coached by Kevin and they walk out, I expect people to be shocked at the conditioning. Like that's
Yeah.
the level of expectations that I put on myself and my boys as well. Like they know that there's pressure on them, but they also know that I'm with them as well.
Yeah.
And it makes it much more easier because we both have a goal of like coming in and shocking everyone, and regardless of the outcome, we're gonna turn some heads.
Yeah.
Um, that's why for me, like I don't really care about having 80 clients, 90 clients. Like that's not for me. I want my goal now is I want to take guys to the Olympia.
Mm.
Like going to the Olympia last year, it made me realize like I don't want to ever compete there, but I want to take my boys there. And I believe like I look at my boys, I'm like I look at Jamie, I look at David, I'm like let's work really hard together and we're gonna go Olympia. Like that's
Yeah.
the goal.
I
Um
respect that. I respect that so much. I don't think a lot of people could be honest enough, like especially as an athlete as yourself, and then go to Olympia and go, normally you hear I go to the Olympia
yeah.
and I go, fuck, I want to be on this stage. I want to see that. And I respect that you're honest enough to go, you know what? I don't want to necessarily be here myself, but I want to take my clients here. I
Yeah,
love
like
that.
I remember training at New Tech Gym and I saw all the Olympians like Mike, I saw Logan, and I messaged David straight away. I'm like, you're almost as big as these guys. Like if you
Yeah.
work really, really hard for the next couple of years, like another 4 kilos, you're basically the same size as them. They're not
That's cool.
like they're big, don't get me
Yeah,
wrong,
yeah.
but like it's achievable for my guys. Like I even messaged Jamie, I'm like, I believe we can do this.
Yeah.
Like let's work really, really hard together.
And that's got to be really reassuring to them as athletes to know that their coach believes in them that much that they
Yeah.
can get there.
Yeah, like that. I think that's why my guys also get into like another level condition. Like every single one of my boys that started with me, they were able to get to another level,
Yeah,
and that's because I believe in them and they believe in me, and we
yeah,
have this really, really strong connection that that's very, very important. That I
yeah,
feel like it's missing. There's when you're able to push yourself a lot harder when you have people that believe in you. Like when your coach tells you, it's like, hey, you're gonna fucking win.
yeah,
Like I remember David when he started with me, he's like, I'll be happy with a top three national placing. I'm like, no, you're gonna come in top two. I
yeah,
want you to win it, in
yeah,
fact. And even Jamie, I remember when Jamie first came to me, he's like, I want to win juniors. I'm like, no, you're gonna place top three in nationals. We're gonna aim big, and they all hit that goal.
yeah,
As long as like they have someone that believes in them, they will work really, really fucking
yeah,
hard.
yeah. 100%. I think that's something that I've talked to a lot of people about recently is kind of that understanding of having a support group and how important
Yeah,
that is
so
that
good.
really because sometimes like the Tony who's just started working with you and he was saying that a lot. He was saying like, compared to certain preps before and that he has struggled to be in an environment where, because he's got a lot of self-doubt and a lot of imposter syndrome that he's able to kind of feel like, he can see but he can't, he's blinded by that to then see the potential that he actually has. And now, he's working alongside you and, connecting more with some of the athletes in Perth that are up on that upper echelon to kind of gravitate and pull him forward so he can now realize how far he can go. And that's motivating him to be better, tick all the boxes, do what needs to be done. And actually, I think visualization of who you are and who you can become and unlocking that, like removing that blindfold that's kind of blocking you from getting that is such a big tool to have in your kit as an athlete.
Yeah, I agree. Um, I just say often that the guys that do well have a really, really good like support system.
Yeah.
Like they have a very, very supportive partner. It really helps when you're struggling. Like people look at me and they're always like they think I get into shape easy. I go through fucking hell. Like I
Yeah.
think about food like every hour. There's days where I can't even get out of bed. I just drag myself out of bed. I'm like, why the fuck am I doing this? But like I always remember it's okay. Like I got people that believe in me. Why the fuck am I giving up on myself? I
Yeah.
can't do that. And that's those things really, really matter. And I see that in my boys, like it's like they have to have a really, really good support system.
It's good that you've been able to kind of the standard that you've set for yourself and the values that you have, that you've actually been able to like bring that to your clients yourself,
Yeah.
and it's trickled down and then you've helped lift them up. Something that's
Yeah.
really interesting that I'm kind of noticing, like, which I obviously didn't know before talking to you, is, you know, you sound like an incredible coach. And like I said, what drew me to you to begin with was like, how you show up as an athlete, and the conditioning that you bring yourself in, and the way how hard you work. But it's interesting to kind of see how do you view yourself as an athlete? Because like I said, I think it's funny, as like, to me, someone who is super competitive, like I said, you going to Olympia, you didn't even think about yourself wanting to be there. Is that because you don't want to put, like, you don't think you can get there? Like, what, do you have any limiting beliefs as an athlete yourself?
I I don't think I love it as much as some people.
Hmm.
And I don't want to identify as myself as more as a competitor in this stage of my life anymore.
Yeah.
I'd rather be known as a coach
Yeah.
because that's brings more value to me. Like after I won, don't get me wrong, I like it was a great moment in my life, but seeing my boys win, that's
Yeah. Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome. That's way more better than me winning.
Yeah.
I'm like that's why I'm always happy. Like I got one more show and I'm done. Like I'm happy to give away this identity. It's not me anymore.
Yeah.
I want to focus on the next goal, which is like, all right, boys, we're going to fucking Olympia.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
that's the goal, and that's why like when someone asks me at the gym when I'm competing, I'm like, I don't know. And I also think I think I'm shit. Like I don't think I'm at the level where I'll be at like to turn pro.
Yeah.
And and even if I turn pro, I wouldn't be happy pursuing that. Like I
Yeah.
wouldn't
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
winning a pro show. Like that doesn't mean anything to me. Um, but yeah, going to the Olympia and even like seeing my boys do well, those two moments in my life made me just this is not for me anymore.
Yeah.
Like I'll still bodybuild, I'll still train, get big, blah blah blah. But I don't want to be a pro
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my boys' goals. And I also don't enjoy it that much compared to my guys. Like it's prep is fucking hard for me.
Yeah.
It's hard for everyone, but like I go through hell.
Yeah.
There's a moment where I enjoy, and then there's moments where I question myself. Because like people don't see the outside, like where I'm barely like functioning day to day.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I go through hell to reach that level of conditioning, and I see some people that enjoy it way more than I do. I think I can only do one more show and I'm done. Well, I got some boys that like my client Ben. He told me the other day he's done 14 shows.
That's crazy.
That's fucking crazy. That's
Yeah.
someone that really enjoys it. And I look at him, I'm like, my career doesn't mean anything to me. I want to take this guy to another
Yeah.
level.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
more important right now.
I think it's just so nice, like, I guess, like, refreshing to hear someone who I think is like honest with themselves and honest with, because I think that's something that's happens a lot, is people love the sport, and like you said, regardless of, removing the athlete identity and not competing, you're still gonna bodybuild. It's kind of ingrained in who you are. You still want to be big, you still love
Yeah.
training hard, and you also, by doing that, I think continuing to set the standard for your athletes. But it's, I think, important to see that you're not, I guess, quote unquote delusional, in a sense that I think that there's a lot of people, unfortunately, who love the sport but then compete for the wrong reasons. It's like being aware that, hey, you can love competing, like your client Ben has done 14 shows, and he may have the dream to make it to Olympia or be a pro, but I think some people have that dream but don't actually are honest with, can they get there? Or, I remember biggest thing in Australia for a long time was, you get your pro card, it's a retirement card,
Yeah.
because you're never actually going to kind of progress as well as you think you are once you turn pro, because it's taking you, 10 lifetimes to become a pro. But when you become a pro, you start at the fucking bottom again.
Yeah. It's hard. That's why like as long as you continue to progress, I think that like I think everyone can not everyone, sorry. I think 90% of people can turn pro,
Yeah.
but 90% of people will never get the pro card just because they give it up.
Yeah.
Like I know if I work really, really hard for the next 8, 10 years, I can turn pro. Maybe in 6 years,
Hmm.
but I'm not willing to give that 100% for the next 6 years. It's just I want to focus on coaching.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's really interesting to kind of hear this dynamic of, like I said, you being an athlete and being coached. So what does kind of bodybuilding mean to you? So what did it mean to you when you, well, actually before that, how did you kind of get into bodybuilding? And then at what point, getting into bodybuilding and, being the athlete and then kind of transferring into being more of a coach? How did that happen? And then I kind of want to compare like what bodybuilding meant to you at the beginning to kind of what maybe bodybuilding means to you now.
I was like the skinniest kid in
Yeah.
my year level, and I just I saw Ziz, and I'm like, fuck, he gets chicks.
Yeah, yeah.
So I started training, and then you realize that you don't get chicks, you just get guys.
Yeah.
Um, and I was starting to put on muscle, and I started to think Ziz was a bit small. So I started looking up like bodybuilding in the 80s, and I saw like Frank Zane. I'm like, hey, this is like pretty cool.
Yeah.
So Arnold, and that was like the next goal. I was like, I want to be bigger. Like this fitness model look, it's too small.
Yeah.
So I wanted to get big, and then I started watching bodybuilding videos on YouTube, and I saw the competing side. I'm like, hey, this is really, really cool. I had a bunch of friends that I met on like a bodybuilding forum that were in Melbourne, Dinesh and Suresh.
Yeah.
Dinesh just recently came top two at nationals in the heavyweights.
Yeah.
So he was like my first proper bodybuilding friend. I was like 16, 17, and it was just driving me to bodybuilding comps. And I was like, hey, this is fucking cool as. I want to compete one day. And Dinesh eventually competed and started doing well, and just seeing the people around me started putting on a lot of muscle and competing. So I was like, all right, I want to do my first show. So I did my first show as a natural when I was 19. Came dead last. It looked like shit. Um, and then I'm like, fuck, natural bodybuilding sucks.
Yeah.
There was more.
Yeah.
I want to turn into a freak. Like I want to look like, Frank Zane and shit. I want to look like Flex Wheeler.
Yeah.
So after my natural comp was done, I basically did my first cycle straight away. And I'm like, all right, I want to start planning for the next comp.
Yeah.
So I went to an IFBB show, and I saw a division called juniors. I'm like, all right, there's a division for people under 22 years old or whatever. That will be the next stepping stone. So I focused on growing for the next 2 years, and then I did my first show in NABA. I mean, my first enhanced show, which was NABA, and I came second. I lost to Adrian. Um, so that was 20. I was 22. Yeah, 22, and then I didn't compete until I was 28. My second show, which was the one I came second, I didn't nail my conditioning. I fucked up on my diet a few times. I was cheating. And I just remember looking at photos and just like, this is not what I really look like. And I
Mm.
just remember crying. I'm like, next time I compete, I'm not just going to be the leanest guy in the division. I am going to be the leanest guy in the entire show.
Yeah.
And then 6 years later, I competed. I was the leanest guy in the show. And that really pushed me because I'm like, I never ever want to feel that way again.
Yeah.
And that's what got me obsessed with conditioning because I'm like, this is something you're in control of.
Yeah.
um, there is no excuse. Like rock up in shape. So that show really like taught me it's like, hey, can't be a pussy. Like if you want to look good on stage, you're gonna get shredded glutes.
Yeah.
And I remember also seeing like a bodybuilder at the IFBB show that I first went to. His name was Steve Pentaris.
Mhm.
He was like shredded, like paper thin. And I'm like, holy shit. Like he wasn't big, but he was fucking shredded. I'm like, I want to get that lean one day. Like that, and then I became obsessed with conditioning. I'm like, I can after that show that I lost, I'm like, I need to get peeled,
Yeah.
and that really um, got me into coaching. I started coaching people, and they all had like shredded glutes, all shredded, um, and the resume started building up
Yeah.
over time. And like that's why like often if you hear an athlete is getting coached by me at a show, they're gonna be fucking lean,
Mm.
or else they won't be competing. I won't let them compete. Like
Yeah.
that's I have like trademark conditioning. Like if they're not lean, you're not competing.
I love
Because
that.
you're representing not only yourself but me. Like
Yeah,
we're a
yeah,
team
yeah.
effort. There is no excuse to rock up on stage fat.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
if I'm gonna give you 100%, I expect 100%. Which is why if someone works with me during prep and they don't nail it, I will fire them.
That's
Because
crazy. I respect
if I
that.
have like 8 people per season max, every single one of them is giving me their 100%. They're
Yeah.
giving me everything, and I'm giving it back. Like if they're asking for opposing call, let's fucking do it. If they need any help, I'm helping them.
Hmm.
I'm giving 100%, you give 100% too. We're gonna come in a show and we're gonna shock everyone. That's why like I don't care like if I have to fire a client.
Yeah, yeah.
I've done it heaps of times. And like you're on stage, you're representing me and you're representing yourself.
That's cool.
There's no excuse to be fat.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I 100% agree. I think like being, it's funny, especially the past few podcast episodes I've done, we kind of like really delved into talking about, what you can control and what you can't control and the role of like genetics does kind of have on you.
Yeah.
And like, outside of conditioning, which I'd actually like to talk to you about, but posing is kind of something you can also like
Oh,
control. It's like
100%.
100% a variable that is within your control. So it's like another reason you shouldn't be showing up on stage not being able to pose because like, that's on you. So I think it's cool that you've gone, what, conditioning is something that you can control, and then that's the standard that I'm going to stick to. So do you think that you eventually, once you kind of became obsessed with conditioning, size for yourself ended up kind of taking a fall back? Be
No, because you always need to be big.
Yeah,
You always need to be big. But you have to also be conditioning. So for me, it's like there is also middle ground where some individuals are like, we're not going to push any more, regardless of what you want, because if you dig any deeper, you won't look good.
yeah.
So like I like a mix. Like you need to be big, but you need to be shredded. Like it can't be on one end.
Because what I was going to ask you was, how you say that, conditioning is in your control and it's like not showing up fat. We're like 100%. But how much genetics do you think plays into that conditioning? Because like, there's this whole argument.
Oh, a lot, a lot. Unfortunately, some people will have to suffer more than others.
Yeah.
That's just the reality of the sport. It's like any other sport. Some people just have things a little bit easier. Bodybuilding is no different. And conditioning is one of those things where some people are going to have an easier time. Some people also have really thin skin. My client Ben, for example, his skin's really, really thin. And as a result, even if his body fat is the same as mine, he will look leaner.
Yeah.
And I've also had friends with thick skin where these individuals they will have to die to get to a low level body fat, and they still don't look super super lean.
Yeah.
And it's a genetic thing, unfortunately. But everyone can show up in shape.
So how do you distinguish between deciding on, like you said, because as you said, if you feel like that's your trademark, you're gonna show up peeled, I'm gonna get you peeled, and you're happy to fire clients that aren't going to kind of meet that standard of putting in the work that you're putting in for
Hmm.
them. How do you distinguish between, like what you said, having a client that has died, but genetically their skin is not going to give them that super peeled look, being at whatever body fat percentage that is? So is there a certain look that you're kind of going for overall?
Yeah, there's more of a look I'm going for.
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna hit their the stage conditioning different
Hmm.
at different levels. Some people might need to be super, super shredded to look their best, and some people need to be a little bit fuller to look good.
Yeah.
Because everyone's look is different. Like a good example is Andrew Jacked.
Yeah.
Like he's not the most shredded guy on stage, but the last Olympia,
Yeah.
he was shredded enough, but that fullness really helped carry him. It was a combination. Like that was a perfect balance. Like you need
Yeah.
to have a balance and find your strengths. Like my strengths is I need to be like super super sharp because I'm not exactly the biggest guy on stage.
Mhm.
I'm the guy with like the small waist, the massive legs, and the crazy condition. That's my strength.
Yeah.
So everyone has to play their strength differently. Like some people need to be a little bit bigger than others.
Do you think that there's a fine line between you know would you I I'll just use him as an example. Only no shade for anyone listening, no shade, but someone like Dashi, like
Yeah.
happy that he won his pro card, absolutely huge.
Mm.
But something that has always kind of been a limiting factor in the past why it took him so long to get that pro card because he looked great from the front and it was just like the back kind of lacking that bit of
Mm.
conditioning. Is that something where you think it's a genetic thing, or were you thinking like
Right.
because he could,
Because
do you
there
think
was
like
one
you could have pushed him further?
there was one season. I think maybe it was the last season. No, I think it was probably a couple of years ago where he had a good balance of
Yeah,
conditioning and fullness, which I really really liked. I think last season was he was off.
yeah,
Um, and the season before that, I think he was a little bit stringy. But the season before that, I thought he looked amazing.
yeah,
I
yeah,
thought he looked really, really good. I thought if he rocks up like that, I think it would have been a very, very clear victory for him.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I think he was off last season. But he's looked crazy before. Like I've seen him compete nearly every single time, and there was a few years where I was like, oh shit, he's fucking on.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I think his next showing he'll be much better. I
yeah,
think it was just off. Like everyone has a season where that's off. Like if you've been competing for like six, seven shows, it's pretty hard to nail your consistency all the time. And also you we never know what's behind like the person's life, like whether they're stressed or things going on. That's why not every prep is perfect. Um I don't think his last prep was perfect, but he's looked crazy as fuck before.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just interesting. Like I think, like what you said, it's like learning how to find that balance between getting as peeled as possible, but then also keeping the size because you have to be
Yeah.
mindful of not being too stringy. But then, like you said, the genetic structure of how thin can your skin get, and then what can you hold to have that fullness, but then complement the conditioning.
Yeah. I agree.
So, looking at, I guess, like your career as a whole as an athlete, what has been a defining moment where as you said, it's been really hard. You feel like preps for you and what people may not know, you kind of really drag yourself through and it feels like hell. And I guess what has been a defining moment when you kind of went, you know what, no matter how bad this gets, I kind of want to finish it through and follow through and bring this like, conditioning and bring this level of a physique.
I remember one day out, I received the email of the competitors in my lineup for the show, and my coach Matt, who prepped me for that comp, he was going through it. And I'm like, at that point I didn't care. I didn't care who rocked up because I knew I gave it 100%. But I knew I nailed it when I was backstage and people were like, holy shit, you're fucking peeled. Like everyone that came up to me.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, all right, maybe I do look okay. That really, I think that was the highlight of my career.
Yeah.
Um, and I want my next show, I want to like shock a lot of people again. I want to come in with crazy conditioning and I want to show like how much improvements I made. Because I know that I'm much bigger than last time. And also a lot of people don't realize that I did lose a little bit off my arms and legs just to reach that level of conditioning. I know next time I will I've grown my arms so they'll look better and I've also grown my legs somehow so they'll look even crazier.
Yeah, yeah. So what was your last? Stage weight.
Um, my lowest I got down to was I think 87.6, and I competed on the day at 89.
Yeah.
Yeah, 89 kilos. So the next time I'll be probably in the under hundreds.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the heavyweights.
Yeah, yeah. But you'll probably do you think that you'll be on the lower end of that of the
Yeah,
category?
I'll be on the low end, but I'm honestly not worried because like when I competed in novice, there was a bunch of super heavies in that lineup, like, and I beat them all.
Yeah.
I beat the super heavy that came third. I beat the super heavy that came fourth at that show, weighing much lighter than them. It's because I know that with my shape and my conditioning, I can stand against a lot of people. Even in the overalls, Chrisabella was in it, Ariel was in it, and I didn't look out of place. And these are like two excellent bodybuilders. Ariel's won like nationals a few times. Chris, obviously a pro now, like, and I stood next to them. I'm like, oh, I don't look too shit.
Yeah, yeah.
It's all
So
right.
so when you have a moment like that and you realize, hey, I don't actually look too shit, especially with one of them now being a pro, that does that because as you said, you feel like, as an athlete and why you feel like you're happy to kind of step away because you don't love it as much. But isn't in a moment like that, does that ignite a flame in you to feel like, hey, maybe I am better than what I think I am?
Yeah, like I remember after the comp, I'm like, hey, like if I give it like another couple years, like 100%, I might turn pro. I could
Yeah.
turn pro. But then after as the months go by and I started prepping people for comps, I'm like, this is so much more fun. Like me earning a pro card, like that's not that fun like, compared to this.
Yeah.
This is more rewarding. Like just seeing Nathan hold an overall trophy above his head, I'm like, that's fucking so cool.
Yeah, because you
I've
kind
always
of
wanted
share
like,
the win with them.
yeah, yeah. I'm in the moment with them, and it feels like I'm doing it. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm like, there's no point of me like continuing to try to like aim for a pro card.
Yeah, yeah. Especially like you said, what's the point of putting yourself through hell when you can get the win by getting your clients the win?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the cool part, and um, I want to be that like their achievements mean a lot more to me.
Hmm.
I my achievements are I don't think it's that great. Like I know some people like holy sh like not many people have ever won like a division,
Yeah,
open division, and they won't ever win in their entire lives. But the I just like my boys getting pro cards. Like that's cool. Like
yeah, yeah.
I think like my achievements aren't that great compared to like my boys what they can do, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 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 of course, of course. I think, like you said, priorities change, values change as you
Yeah.
kind of grow older and you expand and, business and athlete. And at the end of the day, like, you know, as much as you love the sport, if you know, like you said, not everyone's prep's different. And some people, have to take them through self through hell. And if you don't want to do that anymore, there's nothing wrong with stepping away, even no matter if you have done well in the past.
Like I had a client last season, his name is Oscar Baker.
Hmm.
I remember it's like 4 or 5 weeks out, and he's just like he messages me, he's like, hey, when am I supposed to feel shit? And every single day he's just enjoying life.
Yeah,
I'm like, wow, this guy's really loving it. Like I can tell straight away, as long as he's continuing pursuing the sport, he will turn pro. Because this is someone that really enjoys it.
yeah.
If you're gonna be able to do this for the next 10, 15 years, 100% you will turn pro. As long as you continue gaining muscle every year. And he will, because he loves it and he's dedicated to it.
I
Like
think,
there's some people that really, really enjoy it more than me. Like I enjoy it,
yeah.
but not to this level.
I think that's a really good point. Like, it's like I think that's something that people need to kind of reflect on and understand. Do I enjoy it, or do I enjoy the accolades that come with it? And it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
do I am I only doing it because I want to be like, hey, I've done it, I've got this, and this, or do I want to go and say I doing it because I enjoy feeling like shit. I enjoy seeing what my
yeah.
body looks like. I enjoy stepping on that stage. I don't give a fuck if I'm last or if I'm first. I'm still first in my own right because I did better than I did last time. I love every second I'm on that stage posing.
Because there's bodybuilding as like a lifestyle where you diet, you track, you train,
Mm,
and then there's bodybuilding as in the competition where you're getting tan, you're having to shave, you're having to go through hell, you're willing to do cardio, eat low carbs. There's that side. And being under the lights, like you're basically half naked in front of a crowd. Some people hate that. That's bodybuilding as a
yeah,
competition. If you do not enjoy being under the lights, because a lot of bodybuilders we're all introverts, like we hate that, spotlight.
yeah.
But that also comes with the sport. You have to enjoy
Mm,
that side too. Um, and I think people just like the idea of it. They don't like the whole bodybuilding as a sport.
that's
I got friends that love this lifestyle, but they don't like competing.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Which is why I got some friends that are like they could potentially like win shows, but they just don't like to do competitions. Like I always try to like, hey, you should do a competition. They're like, bodybuilding sucks, and but at the same time, like my mate's like his name's Bray. He still tracks every single day. He still trains hard and is humongous, but he just doesn't. He knows that the competing's not for him. The
yeah, yeah,
competition.
yeah. I think that's a really what you said. It's like a quote or like a motto that I think a lot of people should think more frequently of. And I think that's something that I've started to do actually in my own life over the past couple of years is understand, do I like the idea of it or do I actually like it? Because I think
Yeah.
some people fall for the trap of the idea of something and then they just end up doing shit then that either makes them not like it, that makes them hate it,
Yeah.
or they're just never satisfied. And it's because you only like the idea of what it meant, what it could have been compared to
And like
actually loving every minute.
with social media, everyone just sees the end product.
Yeah.
Like they don't see like the years and the behind the scenes. Like people look at me, it's like I wanna look like that. But they
Mm.
don't understand that I've been doing this for 15 years. Like eating, training, I've been doing for so long. Like are they willing to do that for 15 years?
Yeah.
Like there's certain things in my life that I gave up 10 years ago. Like I used to, for example, I used to collect comic books. I don't do that anymore. Like there's certain hobbies that you give up.
Yeah.
That's why people I don't really recommend people to enhance as well unless they're doing it for competitions because you're gonna be doing this for a long time for
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
rest
Yeah.
of your life. Like you either do it properly or you don't. Like you better make sure you like bodybuilding if you're willing to go down that route.
Definitely. 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 Well, let's kind of, I just want to focus a little bit on the coaching side as that kind of seems to be, I guess, the way that you're gravitating towards
Yeah.
as like, I guess, you going forward. So, what is something that you think you do differently as a coach with your clients that allows you to help them achieve the success that they do?
I think I have an eye like for condition. I think like a lot of people don't understand what true conditioning looks like.
Mm,
They look at someone and they're like, this is ready, when in reality, it is not ready. I don't think people have an idea of what good conditioning looks like because people like don't understand that once you're tanned up and under the lights, things look very different.
yeah,
Everyone looks good in the gym, pumped up. But how many people look good under the lights? Like these are like things that a lot of coaches they don't understand.
yeah,
They don't understand that um hey like there's still a little bit of fat like off your lower hip like your little your hip or your quad. That's why there's levels to conditioning.
yeah,
Like in order for people to reach that next level of conditioning, they have to understand that once you are lean, that's
mhm,
when prep starts.
yeah,
Like whenever my boys message me like, I can feel the bones at the bottom of my feet. I'm like, this is when prep starts. Because this is where you actually reach true level conditioning. You
yeah,
continue to dig. Um, like all my boys experience, it's like, all right, you sit down and you feel like your tailbone. Like
yeah,
you walk and it feels like you're just stepping on Lego nonstop because there's just no fat in like um areas that you would not expect, like the back of your hand, your neck, your head. There's always fat to be removed.
yeah,
But you also have to keep in mind there's also a balance. Like you don't
yeah,
want
of
to lose muscle at
course,
the
of
same
course.
time.
What do you
Yeah.
think you would say to someone who's listening, who's maybe a coach or maybe an athlete that want to understand what that eye is that you're referring to? Do you think that not everyone can kind of like, do you think it's a skill that you can learn to kind of go, you know what, I'm gonna have this eye for what it actually means to be properly conditioned?
It's a skill. It's 100% a skill. Because I've had friends that be like, they'll look at competitors. I'm like, this guy's shredded. I'm like, no, he's not. He still has a lot of fat to lose, and they didn't understand.
Yeah.
And then after the show, like, all right, you're right. And then over time, they're like, they can start to notice what true conditioning looks like. Like my partner, she didn't know anything about bodybuilding
Yeah.
until she met me. And she didn't really have an understanding what conditioning looks like. She thought I was the standard. And then I rock up to the comp and she's like, okay, now she gets it. There's like a
Yeah.
different level of conditioning where a lot of people have yet to unlock because it's hard.
Yeah.
There's a reason why every season there's only a handful of people that reach that level of conditioning because um, it's very, very difficult. But it's once you get there, you'll understand what true conditioning looks like. Like every single one of my boys, they know what true conditioning looks like. That's why whenever they look at people's photos on Instagram, they know what looks lean and what not.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it is a skill. And over time, you just get better at judging what if a client is ready or not. Like I've had probably like couple of shows, I'll say like two where a client hasn't been super lean, where I thought he was lean, but it's learning. You continue to learn. It's like, all right, next time I need to push this guy a little bit harder.
Yeah. Do you think that you having that expectation for yourself and I guess self-experimenting of seeing how far you can push yourself and the conditioning that you can bring has helped you build that skill?
Yeah, 100% think so. But I've also had clients that'll peel before I even competed last season, and that's just because um I'm very critical. Like I'll zoom in the body parts. I'm like, all right, this there's a little bit of fat off. Um, and it's also really, really hard to impress me. So I know what looks good and what doesn't.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to like explain, but like over time, I kind of have an idea what can. I know when someone's ready or not.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I know when someone's ready or not, even through photos.
Yeah.
And it's a skill where I think a lot of people don't have. They will
Yeah.
look at their clients' photos and like, I'll tell them, hey, this guy, you need to push him. He's another 3 kilos.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get what you're kind of saying. It's like, for example, it's I do my partner and I do photography and videography, and I think especially with photography, I think
Yeah,
you can learn the technical sides as it's the same thing with like being a coach. You can learn all the technical sides, but there is a skill that I think that and it's like what you're saying, like that eye. I think there's certain you can have someone who has gone to photography school and they've learned the techniques, but they still don't have the eye of being able
yeah,
to kind of take that, photo compared to someone who doesn't know the technical techniques, but can take a better photo because of that eye and being able to see what they want to do. So it's I kind of like I get where you're kind of
yeah,
going with that. You have that eye of conditioning and it is a skill, but it's not maybe something that everyone can kind of learn unless they actually kind of have it or I guess, put themselves at that standard of what does it really mean to be truly conditioned to then kind of get a better understanding.
yeah. Like if I take a photo, I send it to you, I will think it looks good. But you would know it looks like shit. It could look
Yeah.
much better if you do this angle, this angle. So it's a skill.
Yeah.
It's also an art. Everyone's gonna have their own way to do it. So like how you take photos will be different to another
Mm.
photographer. And that's a thing that why I think a lot of coaches they don't nail their clients' conditioning is because they try to replicate another coach's work.
Yeah.
When in reality, like I see bodybuilding the whole. I remember talking to my prep coach for the last comp, Matt. We both talked about how coaching people is like an art. You're
Yeah.
like you're molding them, and everyone's gonna reach. Like for example, if me and him we coach the same individual, we'll get that person to the same destination, but we'll do it differently.
Yeah.
And once you start copying someone's like peak week protocols or copying off ChatGPT, that's a recipe for disaster.
Mm.
That's what I've seen it so many times where it's like, all right, I'm following this coach's protocol, and it never works out because everyone's different. Everyone requires a different protocol, Everyone requires different measures. Everyone operates differently.
Yeah, I think that's super important. It's like definitely like understanding, you know, just as you are, that's why the sport is so individual as like individual. Like, you train differently, your nutrition's different, it's all going to apply differently. And I guess that, if you can understand that as an athlete, I think that's what helps you be a better coach is also understanding that, okay, well, like what you said, what's going to work for one client is not going to work for the next. And that's why it is like an art. And then don't, just because you may not know how to do something as a coach for a client, don't look elsewhere at what other coaches are. Maybe be inspired, but don't copy and expect the same work.
Yeah.
Learn to kind of go, what am I missing or not understanding? What can I do? How can I learn? And then how can I apply it, but not apply it like individually to this one person, and then not just repeat it with your other clients.
I think it's also important for a coach to admit when he's fucked up, which
Yeah.
a lot of coaches they're not willing to do that. If I fuck up, I'm like, all right, I kind of spilled you, because it's very very important to accept your mistakes and learn from it. No, there's no way you coach for like let's just say 100 people and every single one of them is 100%. Like I've admit, like there are some times where I'm like, oh, this guy could be a little bit fuller. I could have maybe pulled him down harder. Every single one of my clients, I I always have a chat with them post comp, what we can do better,
Hmm.
what we've done good, what we should do next time, because there's always things to improve on. And that's how you get better as a coach and as a competitor. You need to be willing to like sit down after your comp and say, hey, I need to improve on this. I need
Yeah.
to improve on that. And I'm always willing to comp. It's like, all right, I fucked up here. I should have done that.
What do you think has been like, what do you think the biggest misconception is as a coach and helping your competitors bring the best package? Like, would you say, like what you said, kind of assuming that you can apply the same thing to all your clients would be a big, like, is something that you see, or is there a different misconception that you think people kind of assume but ends up not being true?
Hmm. I coach every single one of my guys differently. Like the way I talk to them, like some of them I gotta like put my foot down to get, oi, you need to get your shit together.
Mm,
And some I'm pretty chill. I think it's very, very important to learn when to push people, when to pull people, and
mm,
everyone should be coached differently. Uh, I think that's you want to find a way to bring the best out of everyone.
yeah,
That's what creates a successful peak. You have to be willing to push this guy to extreme lengths for a long period of time without him giving up. And everyone requires a different method of coaching
yeah.
and a different protocol. Like some guys, I have to really put the foot down and say, "Oh, you need to fucking push now, or
Mm.
else you're gonna be fat on stage."
What do you think is something that is there a common denominator though? Do you find a trend within that of like what you said? I think it is important, like understanding, hey, this client may not, you know, agree with being super aggressive. I need to kind of, approach it more, I guess, sensitive in a way to help them push themselves further. But do you find something as like, especially coaching higher end athletes, that is a common denominator that you find does work between all clients?
Hmm. It's hard for me to say because the people that work with me, they know what to expect.
Mm,
Like if you want to get in shape, like I'm the guy to contact,
yeah.
and they know that they have to be willing to push themselves. So like my my target market is a bit different. So I can't really say with that one. Because everyone that's worked with me, they know they're gonna get pushed.
So
So they prepare for it and they yeah.
would you say, as a coach, I guess for like anyone who's a coach listening and wants to improve their skill set, that it's important to set a standard and a value as yourself as a coach so that clients know what to be expected instead of kind of catering the other way of trying to,
Yeah,
obviously you want to cater to your client, but not kind of go, oh, it doesn't matter what it is, we're going to make it work. But we're going to make it work, but hey, this is what you're going to get if you come
yeah,
with me.
yeah, yeah. That's yeah, that's true. That's you gotta do that.
Yeah.
But there are some coaches out there that they're just happy to get people on stage,
Mm,
which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. There's two sides of competing. There's the competitive side, and there's the one where it's more for fun.
yeah.
And you just got to find out what type of coach you want to be.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a big thing. Understanding where you want to take your coaching service. Who do you want to be? How do you want to be
Yeah,
remembered? And like you said, you want to have a legacy. You want to be remembered for all your clients. You know that if you're hearing that you're their coach when they step on stage, that everyone should be in the crowd and go, I'm about to see them peeled out of their mind.
yeah.
What's a training or nutrition habit that you swear by, that whether that's as you as an athlete, or that you do with your clients, that I think a lot of people overlook?
Hmm. I think recovery.
Recovery?
I think a lot of athletes, they, the problem with a lot of athletes is they just sometimes they push themselves a bit too much, whether it's too much volume, too much weight, and as a result, they get burnt out or they get injured. I think some people, they need to know when to step back. And that's why I think it's very, very important for some people to have a coach. Because some of my boys, I have to force them to take rest.
Mm,
Like that's how I'm able to manage the injuries so well. Because like I'm like, all right, I don't care how good you feel right now. I want you to deload right now, so that way it'll be safe on your knees.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I think that's one thing people overlook is the recovery, the managing the training side.
How would you go about, because obviously I think the sport is not just physical, it's also mental. So how do do you also agree that if you think recovery is something that is overlooked from a training standpoint, do you think it's also overlooked from a mental standpoint? And how do you kind of work around that mental side?
I think the mental is everything.
Yeah.
The mental is everything. You have to ensure that um, yeah, first of all, you gotta ensure that you're happy.
Mm,
That's very, very important. If you're not happy in the current situation, you will not progress. Um, yeah, I think that's very, very important, the mental side, making sure that you're in an environment that is healthy,
yeah.
you're happy, and you're able to do it bodybuilding repetitively for the
Yeah.
next couple of years. And you're just in that stress-free environment. That's why a lot of bodybuilders, they used to, back in the day, they just all moved to Thailand and they just, just bodybuild there because it's stress-free.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I guess it's a little bit hard now with, you know, um, uh, like money, all that stuff. But I think it's very, very important that you're happy
Yeah.
doing it because that's when you'll progress the most.
I like that because, yeah, obviously we can see how much stress plays on the body. And I think I like that you're saying the word happy. I think that's something that, we think about recovery, think about, adhering all the plans, training hard, progressive overloading, doing everything that you need to be an athlete, to be a coach. But I think something that sometimes gets overlooked is maybe losing that happiness along the way. And I think, it's important because obviously, like I said, we know what stress can do to the body and how it can completely change things. But sometimes,
That's why I think it's important for people to like. I think a lot of bodybuilders they don't eat out.
yeah,
I think it's important for them to eat out because like you just there's no way you're able to live the rest of your life like 20 years in a bubble.
mm,
Like having a one like off-plan meal a week, it's not gonna create any issues. And I
yeah,
think a lot of meals are a little bit too strict on that. There's a time and place where you have to be bang on with your diet, and that's prep. But I think you have to also like learn when to like go out, enjoy yourself, eat a bit of food, not just to get out of the because bodybuilding's so boring. You just do the same shit every day. So
Yeah,
I think it's important to do those certain things, eat out, so that way you're not just stuck in a bubble all the time.
yeah. I think that's important. I remember like talking to Lachlan and even Laura, and they were both kind of saying how the importance of having that balance. And it's like I think
Yeah,
that bubble was very old school, and it's like kind of what drawn us to it, and like that old school ethics, but it's like it just doesn't kind of work in this day and age. And I think having that balance of, you know, you're in prep, got to tick all the boxes, but still live your life. Like still let it, still go do things. Jared was, you know, Jared had said that, it's a common thing. He'd go out somewhere, and instead of, it wouldn't, just because he's had to eat on meal plan, he wouldn't necessarily stop himself from going out. If he wanted to go somewhere and people were gonna eat out, he was just gonna bring his meal. And that's just like what you do. And I think
yeah,
some people go, no, I can't even do that because I don't want to even be around people that are eating out. But then you're forgetting the social interactions that can bring that happiness that you're referring to, or in those moments where you can remember, hey, life doesn't have to be so serious, even though I am doing what I need to do in that time and place to get the goals that I want to achieve.
yeah.
How has, if you weren't bodybuilding, where do you think your life would have taken you? Do you think you'd still end up being a coach?
I'll probably be on the streets.
The
Uh,
streets?
Yeah, I'll probably be on the streets. Like bodybuilding saved me. Like
Yeah.
it really, really helped me. Um, I know a lot of people in my circle, they became like drug dealers,
Mm,
involved in gangs and stuff like that. And bodybuilding saved me, gave me a career. Like I don't know what I would be doing right now. Bodybuilding gave me like that's why I'm so grateful for the sport.
mm,
Um, it's given me a lot. Like bodybuilding, there's fuck all money in it,
yeah.
but it can give you a lot. It can give you a career. It can keep you alive. Because I know
Yeah.
some people on my roster, I'm like, they even told me if it wasn't for bodybuilding, they wouldn't be alive.
Mm. I think that's what makes the sport so special because
Yeah.
it requires so much a demand of your life. If things aren't like necessarily going so well in the external or your environment, or you're maybe around the wrong crowd, that finding this place that all of a sudden, if you wanna make progress or see what happens, it demands so much that it kind of forces you to make a change in your life. And then,
Mm.
like I said, in a result, it can save you. It can, like, you can start, if you have a passion for it, a lot of bodybuilders get into coaching and then they can build a career. So
Mm.
it's cool. I think it makes bodybuilding special. It's what makes it unique.
Yeah, I agree.
One final question to wrap things up. I'll break it into two things. Firstly, I'd love to kind of hear, w- coming into this year, how are you approaching every day? What is like your motto?
I don't know, because like my life is so boring, man. I just eat, sleep, train, work. That's legit my life. So I've never I've never thought anything more than that.
Yeah.
I'm like, as long as I like try to improve somehow, whether it's training, whether it's work, then I'm moving in the right direction.
Would you
As
say,
long as I'm making some sort of progression in my life.
yeah, kind of like be fulfilled with the mundane? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Mundane's good.
yeah,
It should be mundane. If it's with highs, there's lows.
yeah,
Mundane is good.
yeah. Keeps you out of trouble.
Yeah, it keeps you out of trouble. Highs and lows is what creates a lot of stress.
Yeah, definitely. And then the second part was, for anyone listening, doesn't have to be bodybuilding related. It can be bodybuilding related. It can be directed for coaches listening, it can be directed to athletes. What is, an advice that you'd like to give?
Mm. Fuck, I don't know. I'm really shit at advices. Even though I give advice to all my clients all the time.
I'll make it easier. I'll make it easier for you. Your trademark, everyone should know, the man of conditioning. What is the advice that you would give to someone who wants to be more conditioned, and they think they're conditioned, or they feel like they're struggling to reach that next level of conditioning?
There's 3 killers to go. There's always 3 kilos to go. That's what I always tell my boys.
Yeah.
They'll reach a certain weight. I'm like, all right, 3 kilos to go.
Yeah. Reminds me of that it's Tom Platz, isn't it? And it's like,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
she was got.
when it starts to hurt and you think you've done like your total number, there's still five more to go. There's still
Yeah,
five
yeah,
more.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like that. That's what I always tell my guys. It's like, hey, it's 3 kilos to go.
Do you think that there's a is that it do you ever get to a point where then you tell your client you've made it? Like this is the condition, let's hold it, or do you continue to push that there's 3 kilos to go all the way up too
No,
quickly?
they usually receive a nice little message. Will be like, "You're ready,"
Yeah,
which they usually receive one day out,
yeah. I love that. I love that.
or they receive it on the show day.
Yeah, yeah. That's so good. Well, thank you so much for your time, man. I've had an
Thanks
absolute
for
pleasure
having me, man.
talking to you, and I'm excited for everyone to kind of get to know you a bit more and get to
Yep.
know more about your coaching. And I'm
Thanks for
excited
having me,
to,
bro.
no, my pleasure, man. I'm excited to see hopefully whenever you return back to stage. I can't wait to see what
Oh, the
condition and
next time
size you bring.
I'll shock some people. I'm gonna
Yeah,
come crazy lean. Like I know I can be leaner. Like last prep, I know it's as crazy as it sounds. There's moments in it I knew I could have pushed myself a little bit harder, but I bitched it, which is
yeah.
crazy to some people. But I know that um, that kind of haunts me. Those little moments. I'm like, next time I rock up, I'm gonna shock a lot of people.
That's good. Continue to keep yourself at that higher standard.
Yeah, always.
I love that. I
Thanks,
love
bro.
that. Thank you, man.
Nice little chat.
Yeah, have a good rest of the day, bro.
You too.